In my experiences, healing has been very much like opening an old high school yearbook or middle school yearbook and just being revisited by the different things that were going on in life back then. Boundarylessness, feelings of shame and guilt, people that maybe you didn't really like so much, right? And also maybe people that you may have like forgotten about. It's really a matter of just the reflection, right? A time of reflection. Before healing in life, you live a very specific way, right? There's a good chance that you don't have boundaries. There's a good chance that you're very much caught up in shame and guilt, the lower emotions, the lower energy emotions, which of course goes with the lower energy centers of the body. Um, Healing is a very interesting experience because once it starts, it's like there's no turning back. You don't once you see something differently, you don't see it the same way anymore. And it's very interesting because when you look at how you used to previously approach things and you recognize kind of like the like wow, right? Those insights right there, they transform you. They make you see things in ways that you didn't previously see them, and then with that, you don't approach things the same way anymore. Healing, in my experiences, and now it like literally on a daily basis, it just continues to like compound. Just insight after insight after insight after insight. And with my most recent insight, realization, and as well as it was verified in a professional setting. Um, I learned that boundaries are very much they're an individual experience. You set boundaries based on what it is that you feel individually, right? I'm not going to go into anything else that was explored in the session because boundaries are important to me. Talking about boundaries, but just the matter that boundaries are very much an individual, unique choice and experience based on how you feel about something. This is going to drastically change and transform the way that I approach boundaries moving forward. One of the most important things I would argue that a person can feel is confidence in the boundaries that they're setting. Because when they're confident in the boundaries that they're setting, the boat is no longer rocky, right? There might be a storm out at sea, right? The boat's not going to flip. The boat's grounded. It doesn't matter how crazy or chaotic that storm is. The best thing to do is to get away from that storm, of course. But it doesn't matter how chaotic that storm is. The boat is not going to flip over. And um, if you have boundaries and you set those boundaries, you communicate those boundaries, of course, setting those boundaries, you maintain those boundaries, and you're confident in those boundaries because you know yourself, you're not going to flip. You're not. You're going to maintain calmness. You're not going to have any anxiety around those boundaries because they're your boundaries and you have achieved that level of self-awareness and knowing yourself and being able to be okay with that. That's the most important thing. So being able to be there with yourself is what's necessary. Um, but yeah, the more that I heal, the more I realize how boundaryless I was previously. Um, this results from things like codependency, people pleasing, all that stuff. Not fully knowing myself, not knowing where I begin, where I end, what is, what isn't my responsibility. Oh man, talk about what is and what isn't my responsibility. I had no clue back then. I just got sucked into everyone else's energies and frames, and I I took on the role of the rescuer and everything. And again, not going to get into why that unfolded for me or what it was that that happened in my life that conditioned me that way. Again, because boundaries are important to me, but knowing what it is key. Um, yeah, again, the most important thing that a person, I would argue, in terms of healing, the most important thing that a person can achieve is the level of self awareness that allows them to understand themselves, what boundaries they need to set based on who they are, how they feel about this, that, and the other, setting and maintaining those boundaries. When you have real solid boundaries, you're calm. You know you, and nothing else matters. Your awareness, your spidey sense is not going to everyone else like oh, I'm not totally confident in the boundaries that I'm setting because what will everyone else think about them? Yeah, no, you haven't arrived if that's what you're thinking. You have not arrived if that's what you're thinking or feeling. If you have anxiety around setting boundaries, I mean, maybe you're still getting there, doing the work and everything, but boundaries are there as to not have anxiety. Because having boundaries means that you recognize the space. And in this case, I suppose it is the intersubjective space between you and other people. But having boundaries means that you recognize the space between you and other people and that you don't get consumed by their energies and frames. That's just how that it works.